So, if we were to sort of frame the transition from the 2020 amendment to the 2026 one, would it be fair to say that the 2021 was primarily about centralizing this flow, and the 2026 one is about controlling and taking over these foreign fundings?
I would agree with that contention. Yes, I would very much agree that the ground was laid, you can say, in 2020, and now the entire edifice for control is being put in place.
Right. My last question, Noshir. So, how do you see the impact of this amendment, assuming it goes through? How do you see its impact on civil society and especially rights focused philanthropic organizations?
Well, advocacy was never liked by the central government. They felt that advocacy uh, is akin to some kind of political activity, and so anyone who did policy research or anyone who critiqued policy, any organization, any civil society, or you did kind of lobbying advocacy work, you were treated as persona non grata. I mean, you were seen as probably hostile to the state or probably a threat to the national security, etc. I mean, this is the way the government always viewed it. I mean, so nothing new. I mean, this has been happening. And if you ask me, from 2020, a lot of funding has indeed evaporated. I mean, I do not have statistical data on this, but anecdotally, I know that people are moved to other countries. I mean, if India has such stringent laws, we have other countries to uh, provide our money for welfare and developmental work. Because there is no denying the fact that this is not an enabling legislation. This is a completely, if I may say so, a disenabling legislation. And legislation should ensure that philanthropy is enabled. Here, far from enabling, it is a disenabling um, piece of legislation, if I may say so. And I'm not trying to be critical of government policy over here, but this is just an observation. This is how it is. Good, bad, ugly is not for me to comment on, but this is how it is.
Okay, Noshir, this bill, it allows the executive to take over assets created partially using foreign funds. How does this partially business really work in practice?
This has always been the case because usually schools, colleges, or hospitals that have been built require large funds, and they have usually been partly with local money and partly with foreign contribution. Sometimes the ratio could be 60-40, 30-70. Let's not get into ratios. And the law was very clear that if there is any income that is generated out of an FCRA asset, it must go back into your FCRA account, and it must be accounted for also. Even in the return, it says that, if you have an FC asset which is generating income for you, typically even your FD, which is in the bank, and it generates interest, it must be accounted for under FCRA. Now, ditto with an asset. It may be a medical equipment for which you are charging fees. Those fees must be credited in your FCRA account. It may be a school. Now, if it is a school which is partially funded locally and FCRA, it was always a problem. What proportion shall we credit from the fees? So probably they took it by the ratio. It's 60% with this. Now, let us assume that it's a school building, which is 60% with local money and 40 by. What part of the school will the government take over or sell? It's crazy. Is it going to be a floor? Is it going to be a room? Is it going to be the land building? What is it going to be? It baffles me. How
Doesn't the bill say that even if it is partially a funded asset, it will take over the whole asset?
Yes, it would, but wouldn't this be unfair? Because what happens to the local money that was pumped into it? Even if you say now, because even let's say 10% was foreign and 90 was Indian, and if you want to take it away, isn't it fair to the 90% local donors?
Right, right.
Where is natural justice?